The United States is the most destructive force in modern history. No other nation comes close to the scale of death, displacement, and cultural erasure it has unleashed across the world. It's also responsible for exporting a culture of blind consumerism, shallow vanity, and a total disregard for planetary sustainability. And now, under the Trump regime, the US is operating like a rogue state, utterly detached from human rights, global cooperation, or even basic human decency. But here's the twist. I love this country. Yeah, you heard that right. I consider myself a true patriot. So if I love America, but believe it to be a force for evil in the world, doesn't that make me a hypocrite? A bad person? Absolutely not. Because when I say I love this country, I'm talking about its people. Hardworking, diverse, kind-hearted. I'm talking about its breathtaking natural landscapes, its vibrant mix of cultures, and its potential to be something far greater than what it is today. But what I do not love is the corporate oligarchy and the military-industrial complex that have used the lies of democracy and freedom to dominate and exploit the people of the world as well as their own citizens. What I hate and what no honest person should support is the mythology that has been sustained and imposed by the financial elite onto the American people. That has now metastasized into the corporate tyranny that owns and controls a brutal global empire that operates for one reason alone: maximizing profits. This is the core contradiction. Most Americans actually believe in ideals like freedom, justice, and opportunity, but they've been systematically misled, bombarded with propaganda that convinces them that their society and government stands for those things, when in fact, it does the exact opposite. Beneath the patriotic slogans lies a sick, parasitic value system, one that is driven by extreme capitalism and market fundamentalism. Neoliberalism isn't just an economic policy, it's a weapon. Like all empires, the United States empire relies on ignorance of its population to maintain control. And it's that willful ignorance that's dragging the entire planet towards collapse. So yeah, I consider myself a true patriot. But to me, a patriot means demanding accountability, exposing the lies, and refusing to look away. Because silence in the face of injustice is not patriotism, it's cowardice. Let's talk some facts, shall we? The US killed nearly 4 million North Koreans during the Korean War, at that time around 20% of their population. Since 1945, nearly 70% of the world's dictators have been installed or supported by US interventions. The US makes up just 5% of the global population, but consumes 30% of the world's resources. This is not leadership, that's waste, theft, and empire. And yet, I also recognize the good that lives here. I've met plenty of people that have helped me out without asking for anything. I've seen mom and pop stores built on sweat and sacrifice. That's real America. That's Main Street. But there's another America, one that floods the world with the poisonous value system of consumerism, glorifies greed, and it believes it has some divine right to dominate. This country hoards more wealth than any other country in history, yet most of that wealth goes to the top 1%, as we all know, and 50% of the people in this country are living paycheck to paycheck, and the rest are left to fight for scraps. This is not a glitch in the system. That is the entire point of the system. And the sad and bitter irony, we already have the tools to fix this. We have the technology, the knowledge, and the manpower to bring about a different reality. It's just that the only thing that's holding us back is the system itself. As the late, great George Carlin once said, it's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it. People have been so desperate for change that they elected a deal maker, a so-called outsider, a peace candidate. Instead, they got a sociopathic fraudster who amplified the very worst aspects of this broken system. Trump did not invent the disease. He's just the most grotesque symptom. The American myth is collapsing under its own contradictions, and it's up to us, those of us still awake, to speak the truth, build something new, and push back against the lies. Because the story doesn't end with Trump. Even if he's gone, the system that created him remains. We must build a new path. One rooted in equity, sustainability, compassion, and truth. This isn't just political, it's existential. Right now, the US is escalating tensions with Iran and preparing for a wider, much more catastrophic war with China. And if these plans go ahead, we're not just talking about a possible war. We're talking about the end of civilization as we know it. But there is hope. The fight begins with our values, with you, with what you choose to believe, share, and act on. This is a war of values. And honestly, you're already on the front lines, whether you like it or not. The road ahead is tough, The road ahead looks very rough, but it's also filled with opportunity. We must stay grounded. We must stay vigilant and awake. So keep fighting, not just for yourself, but for other people, for the animals, the plant life, and for all the millions who suffer under the weight of the system. So never give up. Peace, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with it, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
I believe all things change. Utopia is an impossible concept. It assumes that you can design a city that's good for all time. Everything changes. That's the only constant in nature, and that's change.
What you call utopia is just a better way of life than you've known in the past, but there's no end to the possibilities, which I think haven't even begun yet. The civilized world hasn't even begun to get off the ground. The jobs that will be accomplished in the future, the marvels, the technology to come is unbelievable. And it's about high time we get off our self-centered, self-advantageous designs and get on with the social job that has to be done, namely the reclamation of the environment and human beings as well. So we welcome everybody's participation.